Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Vogl. I'm a behavior analyst. I've been working with the autism spectrum children and adults for a long time now. Just a little bit about me before we get into this introduction video on the Vogl Method. I grew up in California with the exception of 1 year when I was 8. My family moved to Italy for a year. And I also spent the last 20 years in Connecticut and have just come back to California, so am growing my practice here in San Francisco. So the Vogl Method is something that I've spent a long time on creating. I spent a ton of time either researching other methods or even doing internships with them and really pulling in whatever I could pull in. Some people say, oh, I've seen that in another program. You probably have, because I probably took it from that program. But then they also say what you're doing is very unique. And sometimes it's the combination and timing of doing two things together that makes the program unique. These strategies are what I believe are the best from any program and from my own work around Connecticut in the Bay Area with families. The most efficient way to help a child with all kinds of needs, from difficult behaviors, being inflexible, social skills, language, speech, eye contact. So I want to talk about the components and philosophies of the Vogl program and what really makes it what it is, and before we get into some of the specifics. Number one, it's absolutely about immediacy. It's not about waiting. Too many times I've seen parents need to wait for the right evaluation, the right professional, and all that stuff is great stuff. That's not bad stuff. But I don't want the time in between before they start to be dead time where they're not doing anything. I want to give them skills to jump right in immediately and start playing and teaching their child. So the whole idea of being immediate is obviously based on research on brain development. Obviously these young guys and gals are learning and watching, and their brains are developing so quickly that if we are waiting for them, not doing anything, not engaging with them, and they are on the autism spectrum, it only makes things more difficult. If you run into me on the street and you say, help me with your child, I am not likely to say, wait until our appointment. I am more likely to say, start playing immediately. Tonight, tomorrow, whenever. Start playing with your child, and then we will build in the strategies to make it more and more efficient. The other component of the program is parental involvement. This is absolutely key. I am here to help you become the expert in the program. I'm not here to come in and do it for you. So you become as good as I am. You learn everything you need to learn. You become the expert. You don't need anybody else after that, okay? The last part is engaging with your child on whatever level you can and doing whatever it takes to create this strong rapport engagement with your child. So I'm going to go over some more specifics now on how we do that using the Vogl Method. The first thing we do is the environment, okay? A lot of times, depending on the age and the severity of the autism, I will recommend using a playroom. That is only to help you focus. If you are working with your child and trying to really reach your child and teach your child, you are not going to want to run all over the house. You are going to want to be in a room with the door closed, simply because you don't want to be behind your child every time you're trying to teach your child to look at you and speak. And every time you want your child to initiate play, you don't want to be chasing your child through the house, of course. You also want that room to be very clean. You don't want clutter. You only want the props that you're going to use that create and inspire engagement and play and interaction. So what are those props? Those are, to begin with, only large objects, okay? I don't allow any small objects, because if you think about a small object, what is the child likely to do? They're likely to look down at the object and not at you. You want to be the exciting part of that child's activity, okay? So large objects, yoga ball, mattress, bean bags, things of these sort. A couch is great because you can prop a child up, right? I have one here in the room, okay? This thing is great because look, it's light. You can do a bunch of things with it. A child can stand on it. If you're a grown-up, which if you're watching this video you probably are, then you want to have the child stand because you want to see the child's eyes. You don't want to be hovering over the child. If you're sitting on the floor with a child and they're only 2 or 3 or 4 and you're a grown-up, you're going to be hovering over. They're going to be too big. So putting them up here, or when we get into body position, we'll talk about that, okay? Okay, the next thing I want to do is talk about body positioning. If you're on the floor, you want to lie down, okay? You can lie down and look up at the child, okay? Because if they're sitting, their eye contact is probably going to be down this way, okay? It's not going to likely be up. So if you're on the floor looking up at them, that's an excellent chance to get a lot of interaction, okay? You're going to catch those interactions by accident. You're going to catch a lot of things that you wouldn't normally catch. Another thing I like to do with body positioning is, like I said, put them up on the couch, okay? I'm 6'4", so I want to put them up on the couch and then I can jump with them. The whole time we were interacting, eye to eye. Okay, the next component is we always try to be fun. Children with autism are not love to have fun. So you want to be animated, you want to be alive, you want to be laughing, have fun, be interesting, okay? You do absolutely want to be the most interesting thing. It is about the relationship and the dynamic between you. And it'll make even more sense when we talk about reinforcement. Okay, another component that I want to talk about, which is more of a philosophical point, but it's really inspiring the child and respecting the child. A lot of people say, oh, you're trying to change the child, you don't support autism, or you don't like autism, you're against autism. None of that's true. This is only about giving the child more options to make friends, to engage in more play, to be able to access their own interests and passions as they get older. And how do they talk to people if they love certain things, if they love trains, how do they talk to people and get the things that they need to get to continue with their passion. So this is really being respectful, but also inspiring them to change. The other aspect is we use the child's interests a lot, whether the child is 2 or they're an adolescent or adult. We want to really use what they're into. If they're a toddler, then how do they like to play? What makes them laugh? What makes them come back for more? More importantly, what makes them initiate play, okay? So we want to really always use the child's interest. This is a program like many programs, but different than other programs that is very child-centered and not teacher-centered. I don't come into the playroom with my own agenda, ever. It's really about what the child wants. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is reinforcement. The child is never reinforced with an object, something superficial, food related, unless you've seen my video with the water. Okay, that was a circumstance where I had water and the child really wanted water, so I took the opportunity. But the basic methodology is really about like engaging with the child. So if the child speaks to me and initiates play, interacts with me, is really nailing the social skills that I'm teaching, then I'm going to play with the child, then I'm going to be fun and actually create more fun than the child would have without me. So have fun, jump in there, play, ask questions, and good luck. Thanks.